Hey y'all, it's Elizabeth Weimiller, and we're getting ready to do October 2024 insights. So I don't know about you, but this year is just absolutely flying by. And I don't know where it's gone because we are officially starting the fourth quarter of 2024. So, with that being said, let's take a look at what's happening in October, and then we're going to look at sign predictions for all 12 signs. So, if you are new here, go ahead and like and follow. I do this every month, or sign up for my newsletter. It comes straight to your inbox with easy links, easy access, easy insight. Sometimes I give my newsletter people more stuff and information than you will get in this video. So if you want more details, that is the place to go as well. If you are interested in booking a consultation, also I will put the link below this video too. So October 2024, we are starting off October with a solar eclipse. Now, it will not be visible to the majority of the world. It's going to be mostly visible to South America, Antarctica, down, down very south. But that does not mean it will not have an impact on the rest of us. So, with that being said, that October 2nd eclipse, it's really going to give insight based on the house it's in for you. So, the eclipse is happening in Virgo. Also, as a side note, I do everything on the sidereal calculations. So, keep that in mind when I say the eclipse is happening in Virgo. It's happening at 15 degrees of sidereal Virgo. The house that this is happening in is going to be the house that sees changes, transformations, new beginnings, just all sorts of things over the next 6 months. And they may already be starting to see it because it can have impacts before the eclipse occurs as well. Eclipses are really that time that bring new beginnings, new opportunities into our life. So, again, as I mentioned, wherever it's happening in your chart, which I will actually be sharing in the sign predictions. So go ahead and pay attention to those after we get through this, because I will give insight into what potential areas may be affected based on your rising sign and your moon sign, because both are important. If you've never watched before, that's what I talk about. So the other thing is that the eclipse may have even more potential because Jupiter will be sending its energy in a trine down to Virgo as well. So there may be more opportunities, more stuff coming in. Jupiter is that planet that grants opportunities. October 6th, Mars is going to be squaring Mercury in Virgo. So Mars is currently transiting in Gemini. Will be sending its energy down to Mercury in Virgo. This can be a time when it's really important to just kind of slow down, leave more time to get places. There can be a little bit more tendency to be accident prone under this type of setup. Words are leaving me today. Also, you may see people driving more crazy. This is especially true because Mars is in Gemini, which is a Mercury ruled sign as well. October 8th, got a lot of dates happening, but Jupiter is actually going to be stationing to turn retrograde on October 8th. It will be retrograde until February 4th of 2025. So this is going to take us into the new year with Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter retrograde is really a time, especially for businesses. It's not a time to begin marketing because you may find it less effective. So just don't begin any new campaigns. Just know if you do, there's likely to be delays, setbacks, challenges, not as effective as you thought it was going to be. Also, remember, retrograde planets are very much a time about reflecting, rebalancing, and that's going to be really reflecting and rebalancing on the areas of your chart where that retrograde is happening. So, Jupiter will be retrograde in sidereal Taurus, which is where it's transiting right now. A key to remember with any retrograde, because they can cause delays, setbacks, challenges, just be sure to take that step back, slow down, reassess, see what it may be asking you to change, or that might not work, or that might not be in the best interest of you or the business, or insert whatever, the relationship, wherever house this is happening, that is what is going to potentially face delays and setbacks. October 10th, Mercury will transit into Libra. It's going to be in Libra until October 29th. It's really a quick trip through Libra. This can be a very fun-loving transit as Venus and Mercury are friendly with each other. It also can give you opportunities to be more artistic, more creative. There can be a better ability to communicate with others, which can allow you to really follow more professional pursuits as well, and have better communication in relationships because Libra is the sign of relationships as the natural seventh house. It can be a time when you can work through situations with the intelligence that Mercury brings to overcome obstacles and challenges. So, really, it's a time that you can get into your mind, you can be more objective and understanding as it relates to others with differing points of views. Now, this can be a good thing given everything else going on, and as October leads into November, which for the United States is a huge election because it is our presidential election, the start of November. October 12th, Venus is going to transit into Scorpio. It's going to be in Scorpio until November 6th. This transit can really bring intense emotions to the surface, especially as it relates to relationships, because Venus is the indicator of relationships. It's a time to really work on relationships, go deep, strengthen them, or it may be a time where as you're assessing everything, you're like, this isn't mutually beneficial. This isn't working. This isn't right. And that's okay. You can also step back. There can be a need to be mindful as you can be a bit more impulsive under this transit. So just don't make rash decisions. Take the time, sleep on it, write pros and cons on a list, truly write them down. Don't just like list them off in your head. Visually write them down so you can see them. Uh, Another time to remember is that it's going to be very important during this transit of Venus and Scorpio because you can have much more honest communication. So just be mindful a little bit of those words in your communication with partners and relationships. But you can, if you keep that respectful, open, and honest communication, it is going to be key and it's going to be very helpful. October 14th, Mars will be squaring the sun. So it will be sending its energy from Gemini down to Virgo, where the sun is transiting at this time. And this can really bring the energy of wanting to assert yourself more forcefully. This can bring kind of more tension and frustration. It's going to be really important to make sure that you're getting exercise, you're getting out to release that emotion before it boils to the breaking point and creates kind of outbursts or like putting that frustration onto somebody that you don't mean to put it on, which may not be beneficial in terms of conversations, business, work, etc. So that is a key to remember. October 16th, the sun is going to make its yearly transit into Libra. Now, Libra is the sun's sign of debilitation. What this means is the sun is weaker. It doesn't have that same strength. This is a time of year where, we can feel more just depressed. We can feel less sure of ourselves. It's going to be really important with this transit to get out, be around people who are positive and encouraging. If somebody's not positive and encouraging, don't hang out with them for the next month. The sun will be in Libra from October 16th to November 15th. It is also going to be really beneficial to, maybe talk to yourself in the mirror, pep talk yourself, positive thoughts only. If you're going to do it and you're going to talk negative to yourself in the mirror, don't do it because it's really about keeping yourself positive under this transit. It is also a time where our energy can be lower and we could be more prone to getting sick because of that lower energy. The sun does can't talk. The sun does reach its weakest transit point on October 27th when this feeling of lack of self-confidence and stuff will feel strongest. Now, this transit of the sun in Libra also coincides with the full moon on October 17th. That is the final supermoon of the year. It will be in an emotionally intense area of the zodiac known as the Gandanta because the full moon will occur at 0 degrees of Aries. So this is all going to make it feel so much more intense because it can bring more emotional highs or lows. It can bring potential for bad storms or an emotional release that's been building within you. Take your time to really ground your energy. And if you feel that emotion coming to the surface, release it so you can move forward, work through it, let it out. Thankfully, the moon does move quickly, but this super moon on October 17th, that full moon is really going to pack a punch, especially if you have planets near that point. If you have planets within 5 degrees of it, you may feel this even more depending on what the planet is. October 20th, Mars will transit into Cancer. Now, Cancer is the sign where Mars is at its weakest. Since Mars is a malefic planet, this is not necessarily a bad thing. It can indicate Mars causing fewer problems for us. However, this year is going to be unique because Mars will be stationing in Cancer to start its retrograde, which Mars retrogrades are always interesting. uh, that being said, because of how it's stationing in Cancer, it's Mars retrograde is kind of going to go between Cancer and back into Gemini and then back into Cancer. So the dates of when Mars are in Cancer are beginning October 20th until January 21st of 2025. Then it's going to retrograde back into Gemini. And then once it stations direct and moves forward again, it will be in Cancer from April 2nd, 2025 until June 6th of 2025. So I'm going to kind of give you what to expect while Mars is in Cancer, and then we'll discuss Mars retrograde in the November newsletter as we get closer to its retrograde date. But while Mars is transiting in Cancer, it's important to avoid impulsive behavior, step back, take the time to think on decisions, allow the emotions to calm before jumping feet first into anything or before popping off on anybody. You can be more prone to fatigue, so just be mindful that you're taking care of yourself and your needs. This transit can feel like things are kind of stagnant and kind of slow your ability to implement. So just give yourself grace. Don't get aggressive with yourself, but don't set aggressive deadlines that you may not be able to meet. It's also going to be really important to express any emotions that come up in a respectful way and release them, whether it be through exercise, meditation, or some other method that you have found to be really effective for you in releasing those emotions so they don't come out on other people. Under this Mars in Cancer transit, there can be a feeling of insecurity. So just know you might not feel secure. You might have this strong desire to defend those you love. Just don't take any of this to the extreme under this transit. October 29th, Mercury will transit into Scorpio. Now, also a unique transit. Usually, as we know, Mercury takes about 3 weeks to get through a sign. Not this time. You can guess what's coming, is my guess. So, October 29th, Mercury transits into Scorpio, where it will stay until January 4th of 2025. If you're thinking Mercury retrograde is coming, you would be correct. Mercury will be retrograde from November 25th to December 15th in Scorpio. So I will share more again on Mercury retrograde in next month's newsletter, but here's your heads up as Mercury heads into Scorpio. The transit of Mercury in Scorpio, it's a time when challenges can really be faced with determination and perseverance. It can drive us to focus on our goals, intentions, and ambitions. There's going to be really this need to watch the words used in communication, as that Mercury energy when mixed with that Mars energy, can make communication more blunt, more direct. Some may feel it's more aggressive in nature. So just be mindful, keep an eye on it. Also, that means be mindful while driving, as drivers can be more aggressive and taking more risks. I would say as we look at this, October is really a building month heading into a tunnel of retrograde, because we're going to have Mercury retrograde, then Mars is going to go retrograde. And then next year, Venus will go retrograde around the time Mars stations direct, so a little after that. So we've got a lot going on, a lot of retrogrades, especially when those smaller planets turn retrograde, they're change agents, and they can be potentially perception changers in our lives based on the houses and planets that are impacted by that retrograde. The key with any of this is to really show up in your life, follow your journey, be mindful, listen to your gut, because your gut's going to be the one that steers you in the right direction. And then use the information that I just gave you as a guide. And then come back, because next month you're going to get even more information with all the retrogrades that are going to be happening. So keep an eye. If you're in the US, one of the things I will be doing is, if you're not in the US, you may be interested too, but I will be doing a special newsletter related to the election in the United States. Now, that being said, I'm going to look at the chart for November 5th, which is election day. And I'm also going to look at both the two presidential candidates and the vice presidential candidates' charts. I will not be saying who will win. It's just not going to do that. So if you're interested in that information to see what the charts are saying, go ahead, sign up for the newsletter below. If not, you'll get it if you're already on the newsletter list. That being said, let's look at the predictions for each of the 12 signs. This month, I am truly looking at, with the solar eclipse, based on which house it's occurring in for each sign, what that can indicate. So this is kind of for the next 6 months, what you can expect energetically for your signs. Look at your moon sign, look at your rising or ascendant, rising and or ascendant, or well, they're the same thing. Rising and ascendant are the same thing. So look at your moon, look at your rising sign. Aries, the solar eclipse is going to be occurring in your 6th house. You may find that you begin evaluating your responsibilities and how to maintain balance between your physical health and the requirements of your work. This eclipse could bring to the forefront responsibilities that you have been neglecting that need attention, so be mindful. Taurus, this solar eclipse is occurring in your 5th house. You will find a spotlight is being put on your heart's desires and passions. The key themes for you that you will find that come up are all around romance, hobbies, children, and creative expression. Gemini, this solar eclipse is occurring in your 4th house this month, and you will find that the spotlight is going to be on your home life, real estate, or family. When eclipses occur in the 4th house, they can trigger a move, but be sure that you really assess if this is appropriate. This could be a time also when you have that desire to really improve your home, both inside and out. So it can be you decide to paint or change something inside, or like you decide to change the garden outside. Cancer, this solar eclipse will occur in your 3rd house, which is going to shine a light on how you communicate with others. It will bring an increase in activity as it relates to your daily happenings, including interactions with neighbors, friends, and contacts. You could find that your mental capacity is expanding, having a desire to expand your knowledge through online classes or seminars. Leo, for you, the solar eclipse is going to be occurring in your 2nd house, shining a light on your finances, possessions, and wealth. You could find yourself desiring to increase your wealth, and you could also find yourself evaluating your own self-worth. Be open and be kind to yourself. You may also find yourself enrolling in classes to gain more proficiency with a skill that you feel you need more growth in. Virgo, if you were listening, it's happening in your 1st house because the eclipse is happening at 15 degrees Virgo. This is going to encourage you to step into your own strength and power. It's going to guide you to pursue your own independence. This energy can guide you to new beginnings, starting a new chapter, or beginning new projects. This is a time to really acknowledge your strength. I know you Virgos can be harder on yourself, so acknowledge your strengths and let them shine out into the world. You could have a spotlight shining on you in the form of a promotion, status change in your relationships, or gaining notoriety due to some accomplishment. Libra, for you, the solar eclipse will be occurring in your 12th house, shining a light on the unconscious and hidden world. This can bring a time of closure, healing, and release. It could bring with it a health check to put you back on the right path, and you could feel as if something is off energetically with this eclipse. At times, you may feel uneasy or queasy. You're really being pushed to figure out what needs to shift in your life, as this is your mind's way of telling you something is off. Dig deep into the fears that are holding you back and begin to release this. You will find that under the eclipse energy, you can gain a better quality of sleep than normal. Scorpio, the solar eclipse this month will be shining a light on your connections with others and the way you interact with your community. You may find your mind shifts in the way it thinks about your hopes, dreams, and aspirations for the future, and it is okay to reevaluate and shift. Don't, just because it's been what it's been, doesn't mean it has to stay what it's been. So be open. You could also find yourself genuinely concerned about certain causes or getting invested in groups. Sagittarius, the solar eclipse will be occurring in your 10th house of career. This will force you to reevaluate your career and ambitions. That doesn't mean you should make any knee-jerk reactions, but be open to what comes to mind during this time. You could find opportunities presented and offers that would improve your position. You could see a promotion or bonus come your way, and if you are a manager or leader, make sure that you are showing your team the recognition they deserve. Capricorn, this solar eclipse is occurring in your 9th house, placing the spotlight on your spirituality and thoughts of and gives you thoughts of international travel. Keep an open mind and take the time to lean into the messages you receive. You will find your higher mind awakening, and you could find you have a shift in your outlook as new information comes to light, and that's okay. Aquarius, the solar eclipse is occurring in your 8th house. This will ask you to focus within and pay attention to your true self. You may find yourself taking stock of your relationships. This can be all types of relationships in terms of the energy you receive and give. It is okay to step away and limit or end relationships with those who are only sucking your energy dry. This can also bring a focus to realigning with your partner on joint financial holdings and goals. So be open, don't get into fights over it. And then you could find you and your partner could receive a big raise or inheritance with this eclipse being in the eighth house. Pisces, the solar eclipse is occurring in your seventh house of partnerships, and this will bring the focus on one-on-one relationships, both personal and professional, to the forefront. If you have relationships that are emotionally empty, the eclipse may bring it to your attention and ask you to make changes to this. You could find partners drifting out of your life if things are not where they should be. Business associates could also shift if there are differences in visions and goals. And you may find that you have more commitments and need to negotiate more during this time. So that is your October 2024 insights. You know, take them for what they are, be open. We're each on our own journeys. We each have the experiences we are meant to have, but you do have that free will and you do have that ability. If there's something going on in your life that you don't enjoy, figure out how to change it. You have that choice to make those changes, so make them. And with that being said, as I mentioned, special edition coming out mid-October with the election information, and then come back in November because there's a lot going on between November, December, January, and February. We're headed into the new year, especially November and December, and it's just going to be a lot. So don't miss out, don't delay. And until next month, I will see all of you then.